Hello my friends, my name is Tim Johnston. This is a video about a mindset that is required to break your addiction, whatever that may be. And also at the end of this video, I want to talk quickly about what happened to George Floyd in America with some thoughts from myself. But first of all, this mindset. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? There are no shortcuts. But how many of us really understand that statement? I know I didn't for many years, which is why I never stayed sober for any length of time. In today's modern world, even in this lockdown, things are available to us at the click of a button. Things are brought to our door, whether it may be food or maybe whatever we need, whatever consumables we need are available to us, whether we leave the house or not. So many sort of modern comforts, things are made easy for us in so many ways, or easier than they used to be, certainly. Not everyone's blessed with that, of course. Not everyone has a roof over their head or food to eat, particularly at this current time, and I totally understand that. Because I see them here when I go to Malaga. I've been helping in a food bank this week, and it's there are people queuing up there that I've never seen before. That what you would call, I suppose, middle class people with young families that have lost jobs and have no food, have no money to buy food, and that's a horrible situation currently. But back to change is hard and it's uncomfortable. Many of you know that if you're trying it. But this mindset, this no shortcut mindset, is essential if you're going to break that addiction or you're going to change. Like I say, things come to our front doors at a click of a button. But it's not like that life. Change isn't like that. You have to show up every morning. I think people think sometimes, it's, for example, I know people that have ordered supplements and protein powder to get ripped in a gym. But they take this stuff and wonder why they're not showing any results. And the fact is they're not putting the work in. They're not putting the sweat and the pain in the gym to get those results. And it's the same if you're trying to crack addiction. There are no shortcuts. It doesn't matter how many self-help books you read. It doesn't matter how many videos like these or any other videos that you watch. It doesn't matter. You have to show up every single day. I'm not saying you don't show self-care to yourself some days, obviously, and have a treat day and a relaxed day or whatever you deem necessary to rest your body and mind, but every single day you have to work at being sober. There's no shortcuts, there's no quick fix, no easy route. People think, with a click of a finger, but the easiest part of stopping drinking or taking drugs or any sort of addiction is just stopping. That's the easy part, stopping. Staying stopped is the hard part, because you have to recreate yourself. Change is uncomfortable, it's painful. No one likes to be in pain, no one likes to be uncomfortable. I push myself every single day, I try to. A guy I watch on YouTube a lot, Dave Goggins, always says that he has a place, because he's become a very successful person, but he came from a very poor background and fought his way to where he's got to today, to achieve so much in his life, put himself through so much, and he still puts himself through it every single day to remind himself where he came from. And it's the same with staying sober. He has a place that he goes to, that he visits, and it's the apartment that he rented for $7 a month. That's all he could afford at the time. There was no running water, sanitation, it was horrible. He's moved on a long way from that. And it's like when you get sober, you move away from the pain of withdrawal, the misery of scratching round and hurting yourself every day and hurting those you love. And, you forget. It's so quickly you forget what it was like. But I revisit that place now, particularly with my current, a couple of months ago when I had my little slip, you know, and that's a fresh memory, trust me. And I visit that place, but I only visit, I don't stay there, because I've moved on from that and I've moved on from my past. But you know, you have to visit it. It has to remain in there to remind you how shitty and how bad it really was, and how far you've come. And every single day, you know, even if you don't feel like doing the things that you know you need to do, you know, it's like part of my recovery, really important part, is pushing myself with exercise and diet. Now, there's many days when I don't want to go to the gym or work out or hike for God knows how many miles or eat healthy food. You know, there's many days when I want to binge on shitty food and lie in bed, but I won't allow myself to do that. I'll push myself out. I'll get in there. There's no excuses. People make so many excuses, but your sobriety is down to you. You have to take responsibility for everything you do. No one else is going to be responsible. No one's going to get you out of bed to exercise. No one's going to make you sit and meditate or eat healthily. No one's going to get you to a meeting, or if that's what you do, no one's going to force you to stay sober. No one's going to beat those cravings for you. It's down to you. And there aren't any shortcuts. It takes hard, painful work every single day. You can never get complacent. That doesn't mean you live in misery. That just means that you show up every single day. And that applies for any sort of change. Because you can sit back in your armchair and make any excuse you like, but you will slip and you will fall backwards and you will never change if you don't get up and just do it. You know, the only way, you know, there is only one way through it, and that's through it, as someone once said. You've got to go through it. You've got to go through that pain, because change is painful, change is uncomfortable, and no one likes it. But it's the only way to move forward, and you keep moving forward, and the momentum gains like a snowball rolling down a hill. So that's just a little bit about shortcuts. And it's just a mentality that you need to have. You need to have it to remain sober. Because if you let that slip, or you get complacent, or you start mixing with the same people you were mixing with before, and listening to them and worrying about what people think about you, and there's so much to watch out for, you know, and you have to watch your thoughts every single day. Become the watcher of your thoughts, because you have total control over your thoughts and your actions. The only two things you have control over. I've said it many times. Next week I'll make, I was going to make it today, but I'll make a video on the part 3 of the trilogy I'm making, on how to maintain it, how I maintain it every single day, and how I get stronger, or how I've got stronger, if you like. And I've learnt a lot from other people as well. But I just want to quickly give my thoughts on what happened to George Floyd in America. And I'm no expert on well, anything really, and certainly not racism or any such thing like that, but I will share my experience with you and my thoughts with you. I, like any sane and rational and compassionate human being, was absolutely appalled and disgusted by what happened to George Floyd. And my thoughts are, like many millions of other people, with his family. I was appalled by it, but I wasn't surprised by it, which is quite a frightening thing to say, really, isn't it? When I was brought up, as a child I was brought up, but I was very, very lucky, because my family and the people that influenced me and brought me up to be kind and compassionate, not to see colour, creed or anything else, but just to see a human being. And that's something that I and my wife because she was lucky enough to be brought up that way as well, were passed on to our own children. And as this video I've just been talking about suggests, there's no shortcuts to change. Hopefully, because of what's happened, this tragedy that's happened, people are waking up across the world and realise change isn't going to be easy, and it certainly isn't going to be happening overnight. Racism is based in ignorance, in fear, in suspicion, but most of all in hatred that's passed down from generation to generation to generation. And that's the chain that has to be broken. And the people that are waking up can break that chain by educating themselves, educating their children, and then on their children will educate their children, and so on and so on and so on. I mean, things since the 90s have got better, but still, you know, there's this inbred hatred and suspicion and fear, this racism that's embedded in some societies, particularly in parts of the USA. You know, I'm not just picking the USA out there, but there are some parts of the USA where it is literally deep-rooted and embedded. And until we can dig those roots up, and until we can educate our children, you know, change will be slow happening. But we can all be aware, we can all keep our eyes open, and we can all realise that there's no such thing as race, it's just a human race in it. And I know many people have said that, and it sounds, but it's true, isn't it? You mean, I like I say, I'm lucky enough to be brought up, I never saw colour as a child, and I played happily in the streets with many different races from India, Pakistan, from the West Indies, and we played, and we just were children, and we just saw ourselves as children. We didn't see colour or creed or anything, and that continued into my life, and now my children have the same mentality. So that's where the change is going to come from. But until we wake up and until we spread that word, you know, it'll be slow happening. There are no shortcuts, as this video suggests. So once again, my thoughts are with George Floyd's family. Let's all wake up. Let's all be kind. Let's all be compassionate. Let's get rid of the haters, because love will always triumph over hate in any situation eventually. So let's be aware of that. So Carpe Diem, make today the day you change. Seize the day. Much love to you all. Take care. Bye bye.